Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Alexandria Black History Museum's annual Kwanzaa How-To Workshop. We are so excited that you are joining us today, and we are pleased to present this workshop that we have been conducting for over 20 years at the Alexandria Black History Museum. While we are still closed to the public, we are so pleased to be able to welcome you virtually, and you will have time to give us questions to the members of our team. We have a wonderful team with us today. We have Lillian Patterson, our former curator from the Alexandria Black History Museum. We have our volunteer, Kathy Riddick Brown, and other volunteers who include Mallory Todd, Linda Isis Houghton, and Keith Calhoun. Today you'll learn the basics of how to set up a Kwanzaa table, the history of Kwanzaa. You'll learn a Kwanzaa craft, and also there will be a cooking demonstration. We are so glad that you are joining us today, and we look forward to taking your questions after the program. Wishing you a happy Kwanzaa and health and safety to your family. We will now begin the program. Thank you.
What is Kwanzaa? It is a spiritual, festive, and joyous celebration of the oneness and goodness of life. Kwanzaa claims no ties with any religion. Kwanzaa is a holiday or holy day based upon the African traditions of celebrating the harvesting of the first fruits and was recreated and introduced for use by Black people in the United States by Dr. Maulana Karenga in 1966. Dr. Karenga, as an African American and Pan-Africanist, understands and knows that this holiday is celebrated by millions around the world, and he thought it would be best to have an authoritative source and site be made available to give an accurate and expansive account of its origins, its concepts, its values, its symbol and practices. Thus, we refer you to the official Kwanzaa website.org. And if you go to the website this particular Kwanzaa season, you will see the 2021 theme. And the theme's title is Practicing Kwanzaa and the 7 Principles Ensuring the Well-Being of the World. Kwanzaa is also a time of reflecting, reassessing, recommitting, and rewarding, rejoicing in an atmosphere of love and peace and unity. Kwanzaa is a cultural and political expression to reaffirm our African heritage and organize our people for the struggle of total liberation. Kwanzaa is celebrated for 7 days, December 26th through January 1st. The 7 days are based upon the Nguzo Saba. That means the 7 principles, with each day being symbolic of one of the principles. I like to call it the Magnificent Sevens: 7 principles, 7 days, and 7 symbols. Kwanzaa begins on December 26th. That will be December 26th, Sunday of 2021. And the day's principle is Umoja, unity. The second day's principle, December 22nd, is Kuji Chakalia, self-determination. The third day's principle, December 28th, is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. The fourth day principle, December 29th, Ujamaa, cooperative economics. The fifth day's principle, December 30th, is Nia, purpose. The sixth day, December 31st principle is Kuumba, creativity. And the last day, the seventh day, is January 1st, Imani, meaning faith. There are 7 symbols of Kwanzaa. The mkeka, the straw mat, represents the tradition and history, the foundation which all else rests. The kanara, the candle holder, originally means and represents the stock from which we come, our African ancestors. The Mishima Saba, the 7 candles, represents the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles firmly rooted in the traditions of our ancestors. The Muhindi, the ears of corn, represents children and all the hopes and challenges attached to them. The Kikombe Cha Umoja, the Messiah, the unity cup is the Kikombe Cha Umoja. The Messiah are the crops, the collective fruits of our labor, seeds sown by our children. The Zawadi, or the word, is the word for gifts, for rewards, for our achievement. In this display, we have each of those symbols. I will repeat them again. We have the mkeka, the straw mat. It is the foundation upon which everything rests. We have the kanara, the foundation. Then we have the 7 candles, the mishima. We have the kikombe cha umoja, the unity cup. And we have the mazayo, the crops, the corn on this side. And of course, the zawadi. And of all the gifts that we may give to our children or to each other, we must give a book, because Kwanzaa represents, Karinga says, the education and the telling of who we are. So the choice of which we want to give are these wonderful books. One particular one I would like to stress is African Americans, Alexandria, Virginia. And it will detail for you many of the great people and contributions of African American here in Alexandria. There's Zuwadi, a puzzle about our culture and who we are. So I will come back to that and we will go into what to do and when to do it. Well, around December the 19th, gather and arrange all of the symbols that I've mentioned to you. And of course, you can decorate further by using carvings, straw baskets. You should do the color theme, which is part of the secondary symbols of red, black, and green, which represents the liberation flag called the Bendera ya Taifa in Kiswahili. The red color represents our blood of our people, the black color, the collective color of all Black people, and then green, the land, the Mother Africa, life and our future where we build together. You must arrange all of these on a low table, but this is good for displaying, but lower the better if you like to. That's fine. You would place the straw mat, the mkeka again. You will have your kanara, which is the candle holder. You will have the mishima, the 7 candles. You will have the kikombe cha umoja, the unity cup, and that would be this particular cup. And then you will have, again, to gather, you want to place the bambusa, the ear of corn. Even if there are no children in the family, still place the corn on the table because it represents the future, our children. And also you must use the mazayo, the crops, which represents our hard work, and of course, zuwadi. All of these are to be gathered somewhere around December 19th. And then you gather the family and you ask them what would they like to do to participate and help. Now, the next part of Kwanzaa is to do the fasting if you care to. Some people do like to fast to cleanse out of their system. That is done based upon age, of course, and your particular health conditions. So we will do on December 26th, which is the first day of Kwanzaa, you will greet each other with a Kiswahili greeting saying, Habari gani? What's the news? Or what's happening? And the answer will be the principle for the day. So I went over the beginning of Kwanzaa, and the first principle, of course, is umoja. And of course, the first candle, the black candle, shows unity, and that represents umoja. Then we will deal with economic empowerment. Only shop at Black-owned businesses, because during the 7 days of Kwanzaa, we have to build up our economy and to circulate monies with these Black businesses who often need the support and help. So do focus on Black businesses and to create an economic empowerment, which of course will relate to the fourth principle, which is Ujima, cooperative economics. So in doing that, you will help develop the trade and, of course, the marketplace. And sometimes we will have marketplaces set up. You know, personally, if you're doing a public Kwanzaa, we usually invite many businesses to participate in our Kwanzaa celebrations, and we expose each other to their particular products. I mentioned fasting. That's okay if you want to do that. It's not required. Then there's called the portion of Kwanzaa, the libation. And that means the ancestral communion of our people. And I will demonstrate a libation to you. It is the lighting of one of the Mishima each day. The candle lighting ceremony is where we are now. And it represents the principle of that day, beginning with the black candle. As I told you, the black candle is first, and it is representing Umoja, unity. The next part of Kwanzaa is the Karamu, the feast. Now, this part is usually held on the night of December 31st and should be a festive occasion. When possible, observe traditional African practices. For example, you can have African music, dance, storytelling, sitting on the floor or on pillows, and eating with your hands. That's the first, finger foods, right? No utensils if possible. Now, some people choose to have a karamu each and every day of Kwanzaa. It's not required, but it is the highlight on December 31st, a huge, huge karamu. And of course, we have Zawadi gifts. They should not be mandatory or expensive or excessive. The gifts we suggest to be given to children in one or two ways. One gift each day of Kwanzaa for the child, reinforcing the principle of that day, or one or more gifts on January 1st, the last day of Kwanzaa, and that would be suffice. Personally made gifts are strongly encouraged over commercial purchases. Regardless of what else is given, there are two strongly suggested items: a book, as I told you, and of course, a heritage symbolic gift. It could be a basket woven by the Zulu people. It could be anything that is out of Africa in terms of a gift giving. The essence of Kwanzaa is true appreciation of ourselves as Black people, collectively coming together to reflect on and enjoy the infinite beauty of being in the same family, organization, community, sharing the same values and interests and aspirations, encouraging and committing to the same struggle. So now we are ready to understand the importance of pouring of the libation. And I said it is the communion of our ancestors. This is called the Kikombe Cha Umoja, the unity cup. We usually use water, or we can use juice for this pouring. Now, because we do not have only one cup, and we pour it into another vessel or a plant. And that would be up to you to share. The Kikombe Child Moja cup, the Unity cup, is to be poured and, of course, is to be passed around. But for our purposes and for sanitation, you can have smaller cups, for individuals. If everyone wants to drink from the Unity cup, that would be best at this time, particularly since we have so many communicable viruses, particularly COVID-19. I like to use the original libation, and in Kiswahili is Tamshu la Tambiko, the libation statement. And it's from Dr. Karinga's original book. Our fathers and our mothers came here, lived, loved, struggled, and built here. At this place, their love and labor rose like the sun and gave strength and meaning to the day. For them who gave so much, we give in return. On this soil, we will sow our seeds and build and move in unity and strength. Here too, we will continue their struggle for liberation and a higher level of human life. May our eyes be the eagle and our strength be the elephant and the boldness of our life be like the lion. And may we remember and honor our ancestors and the legacy they left for us as long as the sun shines and the waters flow. For our people everywhere, for Shaka Samaru, for Nzanga, and for all others known and unknown, and who defended our ancestral land, history, and community from alien invaders. For Garvey, for Marcus, for Muhammad, for Malcolm, for Harriet, for King, for Fannie Lou, for Sojourner, for Bethune, for Nat Turner, and all others, and who dare to define, defend, and develop our interests as a people. For our children and the fuller and freer lives they will live because we struggle for Kawa Ida, the Nguzo Saba, and the new system of views and values, which gives identity, purpose, and direction to our lives. For the new world we struggle to build, and for the continuing struggles through which we will inevitably rescue and reconstruct our history and humanity in our own image and according to our own needs. Now, after the libation is done, everyone who is present will have to do what we call harambe. It means pull together in Kiswahili. And the 7 harambes represent each one of the 7 principles. Remember, I call Kwanzaa the Magnificent 7, 7 principles, 7 days, and 7 symbols. So the harambe, we raise our right hand, put one on our heart, and we do 7 of them. Harambe, 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 harambe. It's the 7th and last one, and it's strong and loud, and we're pulling together. Of course, I wanted to say that the libation and the pouring of it is usually done by a leader of the family, an elder. And in the African tradition, the elders are always honored and revered. And we always ask their permission to even speak and to begin the actual performance or the actual ritual of Kwanzaa. So that was an omission by me. So if we were in a group within our families or the community, we always ask the permission to speak from the elder. And we find that out by asking who's the eldest in the community, and the person will grant us that permission, because from them and because of them, we are here today. All right, after the pouring of the libation, we will now have the candle lighting ceremony. And that is usually where we like to pull in the children or the younger people and give them that opportunity to understand the principles and to learn them and to recite them.
Hi, I'm Mallory Todd. I'm going to share with you the Kwanzaa principles for lighting candles. The first candle you light at the beginning of each day of Kwanzaa is the black candle. The black candle represents us as a people. The red candles represent our blood, and the green candles represent the land. The black candle represents umoja, which means unity, to strive for and maintain unity for the family, community, nation, and race. The second day is Kujichagulia, which means self-determination, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. The third day is Ujima, which means collective work and responsibility, to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and solve them together. The fourth day is Ujama, which means cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. The fifth day is Nia, which means purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Sixth day is Kuumba, which means creativity, to do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. And the seventh and final day is Amani, which means faith, to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. So again, the 7 principles are unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Lillian Patterson, and I want to tell you a bit about African foods. The proteins, the fruits and vegetables, and spices and seasonings. Meats like game, poultry, pork, beef, and fish are all common in African cooking. Meat from poultry and game can be quite tough. So it is most often prepared in slow-cooked stews and soups. Nuts are another common protein source, particularly peanuts, which are found all over the continent and are grown all year round in the right climates. Ground peanuts are made into sauces and soups, and the oil is sometimes used for flavoring. Then lentils, beans, and peas form a significant portion of protein in African cuisine. And in addition to soups and sauces, they are also served mashed or fried in cakes. African climate welcomes a tremendous variety of fruits and vegetables, both wild and cultivated. And they comprise a large portion of the African diet because they grow all year. Tropical fruits like mango, papaya, oranges, and figs appear in sweet and savory dishes. Bananas and plantains are eaten ripe or overripe, either raw or cooked. And green bananas are the main ingredients of many dishes. The flesh, milk, and oil of coconuts are quite prevalent in African food, where the oil is used for cooking and flavoring, and the flesh can be made into casseroles, fried dishes, desserts, and sauces. Milk produced from boiling coconut flesh is made into drinks or used in soups and sauces. Okra and fresh corn are popular African vegetables, as well as tomatoes and cucumbers, mustard greens, squash, pumpkins, carrots, cabbage, spinach. They're all good vegetables that are grown in Africa. African spices vary with the region, and many African foods are salty and heavily spiced. Hot peppers and chilies are also quite common in African food. Seasonings are made from dried mushrooms and ground seeds like cotton and melon. A special African seasoning called ugail is made from dried seeds which have been steamed, fermented, and then ground into a paste. We have here some African dishes, and these are vegetables over here, and this is chicken. And then we're going to show you a production of foods.
Hi, my name is Keith Calhoun. I will be preparing a West African dish called chicken peanut stew. I first ran across this during my time in Africa. I was lucky enough, I spent 2 years in Peace Corps in Senegal and then worked for Africare in Mali for another year. And I fell in love with the food. This dish is prepared in several West African countries. From Uganda, where it's called chickenat. In Ghana, it's called groundnut stew, to Zimbabwe, where it's called dovi. In Senegal, it's called poulet mafe, and it's one of the country's signature dishes. This dish can also be made with lamb. The vegetable ingredients vary from country to country. It can include eggplant, okra, cabbage, sweet potatoes, spinach, or pumpkin leaves. Use your imagination. With this dish, your kids will eat it and never know they're eating the vegetable. Different vegetables work well. This recipe can be adjusted easily for smaller or larger groups. 1 chicken cut into pieces, ½ cup of peanut oil, 1 large onion chopped, 1 to 2 tomatoes peeled and chopped, 1/2 cup of tomato paste, salt, ½ cup of smooth peanut butter, 1/2 cabbage chopped, 1 large sweet potato chopped, 2 to 3 turnips peeled and chopped. Also, you should peel the sweet potato. 2 carrots chopped, okra, eggplant, and a jalapeno pepper. The pepper can be of your choice. If you don't want as much heat with the pepper, de-seed the pepper before putting it in the dish. You start with a heavy pot. You would brown the chicken until well browned. Add 1/2 of the chopped onion and the chopped tomatoes. Then you would add tomato paste and 2 cups of boiling water. While this mixture boils gently, thin the peanut butter with some of the pot liquor and add to the pot along with the boiling water. Reduce heat and simmer for 1/2 hour. After the half hour, start adding the vegetables one at a time, leaving 5 minutes in between each addition. Add to the pot slowly while stirring. Let them simmer for about 5 minutes. Cook until the chicken and the vegetables are tender. Meanwhile, crush or grind the remaining pepper and half onion and add to the pot during the last 10 minutes of cooking. Serve over rice. Here is here's the dish put together over rice. It's very easy to enlarge or shrink this recipe for how many people you have. Now here is a pot, how it looks in the pot. It's a very hearty stew, and I'm sure your whole family will like it. Now, I hope you enjoy.
Hi, I am Kathy Riddick Brown, and I volunteer at the Alexandria Black History Museum. I am so ready for it to open up again because I do miss serving here and being able to interact with the people and just learning more every day. So today, as part of our Kwanzaa program, we talked about gifts. And one of the things you want to do is make a gift for your celebrant during the Kwanzaa season. So today we're going to make the mkeka. And the mkeka is a placemat. We have the mkeka when we have our Kwanzaa table. So this is what mkeka looks like. So we're going to duplicate that by making one with a few supplies. First, you're going to need some scissors. You have regular scissors, and you also have pinking shears, which cut up as an edge that helps protect your fabric. You're going to need a measuring stick, a ruler. You're going to also need some tape. We use straight pins to put ours together. You're going to definitely need some fabric glue, but more importantly, you're going to need some fabric to make this piece. And of course, a pencil to cut your measurements. So with making the mkeka, we usually want to do a pattern of some kind. So we're going to need some newspaper. We measure out with our ruler the size of the mkeka. In this case, we're going to do about a 17 by 13 size mkeka. So we cut the strips of newspaper for both the vertical side and the horizontal side. And it's going to be a weave pattern. And we talked about the tape. So for little kids, you might want to use tape versus the stick pins for the fabric when you're making your fabric. But for the newspaper setting the pattern, we're going to tape the corner to have a base. So you want to start with your base to allow you to weave your pattern together. So we start here. We take another shorter 13-inch strip. And if you see, the longer end is to the back of the shorter strip. And so when we do this next piece, we're going to put the shorter piece behind the longer strip. So again, to create a weave pattern, we're going to tape that together. So you have a strip on top, and you have one on the bottom, giving you a basis to weave. Let's go with our longer strip. We're going to do similarly we're going to put the long strip on top of this weave pattern because the long strip for the first one is on the bottom. So we're going to weave that pattern. And again, whatever colors you want, because you're creating a pattern, just like if you were sewing an outfit. Usually you can buy a pattern from the store, so we're going to make our pattern. So I have 2 long and 2 short, and I'm going to literally weave this to the back and weave this to the front. So when I've done enough pieces, what I come out with is something that looks like this. So this is the pattern for our mkeka. And what we've basically done is weaved up and down the short and the long ends. And tape will do that for you. So now we're going to try it with fabric. This is going to be interesting. Again, using our pins, we have the long weave, we have the short, we have a long weave here, and we have a short weave. Hence, as we're putting the pattern together, we can see it forming our finished product. So I'm going to stick the fabric here. I'm going to stick the second piece. And again, this is just to give you your design until you're ready for the glue that holds it all together. And again, for little kiddies, you might want to use something less hazardous than a stick pin. Some good tape may hold it on for you. So we'll start in this pattern, as you may see, here. We'll go back to another short one. And because this second one is on top, we're going to put it underneath the first strip that we have here. And we're starting to create, we're starting to see something develop. And that's the great thing, when you can see it being developed. That's always awesome, because your end product is on the way. So right now we have a starting point where we have the longs and the short patterns that come together in a weave motion. And again, we will stick pin this all the way down. So we put this one on bottom, that one on top. Again, weave it in and out. And as we come together with our weave pattern, we find that we have something that looks like it may be finished really soon. And it's not a long-term project, but it's a good way of thinking about being creative. And you can use whatever patterns you want. You also might want to consider using a bit of a heavier fabric, depending on what you're going to use the mkeka for. If you're going to use it for a placemat, or some use it as decorative patterns for the wall, you can use whatever you want with it because it's your creation. So once again, we go on top to bottom with our weave. That one's on the bottom, this piece goes on top, that piece goes on the bottom, this piece goes on top, and this piece goes underneath. So as you're putting your pattern together, it doesn't have to be any particular way other than what you decide it's going to be. So when it's all said and done, as we're creating the mkeka, which looks similar to this. This is a manufactured one. This is a one done by hand. So when it's all said and done, after we've put the pattern and the weave together, after we've glued it together, then you can remove your pins, we come out with an mkeka. And this is our mat. And the great thing about this fabric, it's the same fabric on both sides. So you can use your mkeka on this side or that side. And the pinking shears are necessary because what happens when you cut it, you then clean your fabric so it won't keep coming apart. Or if you're really fancy, you can put a border on it, and that can also protect your fabric. So this is our project for Kwanzaa 2021, and it's the mkeka. So be creative in your space, whether you're creating an mkeka, whether you're creating even a cup, whatever you're creating for Kwanzaa, it comes from the heart, and that's what's important. And so this is our presentation for Kwanzaa 2021 for the Alexandria Black History Museum. We thank you for your time.